If you have a family and you're moving to Boise, Idaho, you know how important it can be to make sure your kids are in an area that will have the best education. So today, let's go over all of the top public schools and charter schools in the area, the top private schools, and discuss where you might want to move to be close to some of those top schools, and what it was like growing up here for me and my siblings, and how being the new kid will be for your kids. Let's get right into it. Starting off in the downtown Boise area, you're going to have Boise High School, which is rated number 3 in public high schools in the entire state of Idaho, located right downtown Boise. Most of the housing for this district is going to be in the north end of Boise, which is kind of upscale living in downtown.
Oh, okay, fancy.
Your average home value is going to be a lot higher at about $650,000. So it's going to be a little bit more spendy, and it's going to be north end, but you're also right next to Hyde Park, which is where it has like a little mini downtown outside of the main downtown area with its own little restaurants and shops and coffee shops. So you can spend your weekends, just take a walk down to Hyde Park, and there's also houses around there too. And it's just a really cool part of Boise. I know it was named one of the nicest places to live as far as the people there.
So friendly!
So it's a big plus at that top high school in the Boise area. The north end is full of trees and your gridded streets, that traditional downtown living feel. So you won't have the traditional neighborhoods that you have in Meridian or Kuna. And in some of the parts of the north end, you do have some foothill living where you start getting into the neighborhoods and some of that higher end subdivision feel where you have the windy roads in your neighborhood with the upscale luxury kind of style houses with a really nice view of the entire valley. This part of town, like I said, it is more expensive, but it does have larger homes and really beautiful views of the mountains, and you're tucked up right in the mountains up against Table Rock and a lot of the hiking trails and the mountain biking trails and all of that goes up towards Bogus Basin. So it's just a really popular place, and it is a nice area. In that same area, you have Highland Elementary, so the elementary school that would end up going to Boise High School. And Highlands is rated number 8 in the entire state. And Collister Elementary School is rated number 10 in the state. You also get North Junior High, that's rated number 11. And that's the middle school that goes to Boise High School. So a lot of top schools all in and around the north end and the downtown area. And there's also a 17-to-1 student to teacher ratio, which is a lot lower than a lot of the other areas when you compare to like Meridian or Eagle and some of those areas around the valley, which you'll see later on in the video how much higher it is in some of those parts in West Ada School District. And as we go through this video, my name's Brady Fagel. I am a realtor in the Boise area. And so if any of this is helpful in knowing where not to live, I'd love to help you find out where to live and help you in your process in moving to the Boise area. So my number will be up on the screen. Give me a call or text anytime. I also have a link in the description to book a call with me. And if you want to stay up to date on everything to know Boise, I post a video or 2 or 3 every single week. So you can subscribe if you want to keep knowing more about the Boise area, but let's get back into some of the...
We get it. We get it.
Next up is Heritage Middle School. So Heritage is ranked number 10 in the state for middle schools. Your high school in this area is going to be Rocky Mountain High School, which I personally loved it there. I graduated from there. And then when I was there, we had kids that moved in from California and Washington, and I was friends with some of them. And we were very welcoming. We always loved the new kid when I went to high school. And so I will talk a little bit more about this towards the end of the video and go into a little bit more detail on that. But Heritage Middle School is going to be right next to Paramount Subdivision, one of the top neighborhoods in Meridian with homes in the 500 to 600, sometimes more range. It has walking trails, ponds, where you can go fishing in the neighborhood, real quick access to a ton of restaurants, stores. There's Costco, Winco, Fred Meyer, Walmart, all within just 1 mile of the neighborhood. And then you have Saguaro Canyon, which is actually connected to Heritage. And that's like a desert themed subdivision. It has cactuses and desert landscaping with stucco style homes. And this is another very popular spot to live with awesome opportunity there, awesome amenities, and that great location. Staying in Meridian, Victory Middle School in South Meridian is ranked number 15 in the state for middle schools and is right by the interstate. Roaring Springs Water Park, Wahoo's. It's in a pretty cool spot that is seeing a lot of new development. Your subdivisions here are going to be brand new developments that offer a lot cheaper price points in the $400,000 to $500,000 range, so not as much as in North Meridian. What I love about this area is that you are super close to just hopping on the interstate on either 10 Mile or Meridian Road. So you can get to Boise or Nampa or wherever you need to go pretty quickly.
That's where you get so much more activities done.
And then you're only 500 feet away from Walmart and then only a mile away from Winco. So you do have some grocery access really close. It is a fast growing part of Meridian as things start to expand towards the south side of the interstate. One thing to remember in all of this is that all of these top rated schools are going to have great supporting high schools and or elementary schools. And they may not be in the top 20 in the state, but all of these spots are A+ school zones, which is great for your kids and of course great for the home value. With all of these Meridian schools, you are in West Ada School District, and unlike in Boise, you have a lot more kids per teachers. It's around 20 to 30 students per teacher in West Ada. Unlike in Boise that we looked over where it was 17 to 20 students per teacher. So a little bit higher there, and the teachers get a little less attention to the students when you're in West Ada. Now, sticking with some of the top public schools in the area, then we will get into the private schools, and then we'll experience and see what it might be like as a new kid here in the valley. But in southeast Boise, you have Timberline High School, rated number 6 in the state, and East Junior High, rated number 8 for middle school. So one of my favorite places in the Boise area, southeast Boise, its own little isolated place in the Treasure Valley, and you're kind of out of the growth and development of the rest of the valley. It is more quiet, and you are close to the mountains and Lucky Peak. Yet you have a 10-minute drive into downtown Boise if you want to run in and be closer to some of the activities and amenities of Boise and downtown. I also love some of the older style homes here and having access to the Boise River and the Greenbelt. It runs right through southeast Boise, and that's where some of your personalized little shops and restaurants are that are specific to that area of Boise. But it isn't as busy as the surrounding downtown area. You don't have as much traffic. It's more quiet.
Peace and quiet.
Nicer subdivisions and neighborhoods, which is a big plus of that Timberline High School area and that school area. Last on the list is Eagle Middle School. Eagle Middle School is rated number 14 in the state for middle schools, and Eagle is going to be one of your more expensive parts of the valley. But Eagle is one of the nicest parts of the Treasure Valley. You have amazing neighborhoods all over with private ponds, waterfront properties, luxury builds, and standard family homes with subdivisions that have sweet pools, parks, golf courses, and then those private ponds that you can go fish in. Eagle is also one of the safest areas in the entire valley, which is another plus. But I have a lot more videos on the pros and cons of Eagle, so I'll put up a video here of the pros and cons of Eagle, Idaho, and let's jump into private schools. First off is the number 1 rated private school in the valley, so Riverstone International School. It's located in southeast Boise that we talked about. There's an application and an interview, and the tuition here is $22,000 a year. But I guess that is what you have to pay if you want the number 1 rated private school in the entire state. In Meridian, you have Meridian Medical Arts Charter, and this is rated number 1 for charter schools in the entire state, according to niche.com, which has a ton of ratings. And I use that for all of this just to keep it in sync and have it all be the same rating. But with Meridian Medical Arts Charter School, it is right in the heart of Meridian, and this area is pretty cool. There is actually a house right next to this school that me and my fiance drive by right next door that we always say is our dream home. So a really cool part of the town. It's right in the center of Meridian, and you have access to all of the awesome things in Meridian. Some other notable private schools and charter schools is Bishop Kelly High School, which is a private Catholic school and is consistently rated number 1 in education and college preparation. My brother and sister actually go here and love it there. but you do get a lot of wealthy kids here. My brother always tells me about the Lamborghinis and the Porsches
But why?
in the parking lot, and most of the kids that go here are not Catholic. Me and my siblings are, but it is just a popular spot for parents to send their kids because it is such a highly rated school in the Valley. Another one of my favorites is Innovate Academy in Eagle. It is a private school that focuses on getting your kids ready for the real world, and it actually functions as a business. So your kids get money and they pay taxes, and you can rent or buy your desks at school, and you can save up and you can buy another desk and then rent that out to another classmate. So it's a really cool system they have there, and if that's something that you enjoy and you want your kids to learn, so it's a cool system and one of my favorite private schools. Gem Prep and Challenger are two other schools in the Valley that have very high academic standards. I heard that at Challenger the kids are already reading in preschool, so definitely way above the rest of the Valley, where you start learning in kindergarten and you're kind of writing in late kindergarten, early first grade. Gem Prep and Challenger are definitely going to be another one that has really high academic standards here in the Valley. Now, an overview of all of the schools is my thoughts on the school system here. Obviously, Idaho is one of the lower rated school states in the entire nation, and there is pockets of good school systems in the Valley. Of course, your top ones are going to be Meridian, Boise, and Eagle. And I love the school system here. It is nice, but it is underfunded. Idaho has some of the lowest funding in the entire nation, and the teachers pay the price for that. They're underpaid and overworked. They have more students than they can handle. And when COVID happened, West Ada School District crumbled a little bit. Some people quit. Some of the high ups in West Ada quit, and there was a whole restructure of the district. So some of that went downhill, but I did love growing up here. I had a good experience with the school systems. I turned out okay, and overall it's not going to be horrible, but if you stay in Meridian, Boise, and Eagle, that's going to be definitely the best places to have your kids go to school. The other thing with Idaho and the Valley here is that there is a lot of homeschooling. So there's a lot of homeschooling programs you can take advantage of here. There's schools here that integrate with your homeschooling. So if you want to homeschool your kids for 3 days and send them to school for 2 days, you can do that. There's opportunity here for you to have that as an option. Now, my story growing up here as a kid and having the new kids come to my school, I had a lot of them as my good friends. I had one that was a really good friend that moved from Washington, and they were always welcome, at least in my friend groups. My fiance is a teacher, and she's constantly getting new kids from California, and the experience for those kids is always welcoming. They're always excited for the new kid. The teachers are welcoming. And most of the time here, obviously, you're going to have some pockets in some of the worst schools or some of the worst areas that you may have some kids that aren't as welcoming. But everything that I experience, my siblings have experienced, and my fiance has told me about, is that new kids from other parts of the country moving here are going to be welcome with open arms. Now, if you're looking at these schools and you're moving here and you want to find out more, it's a really good idea to call these schools. You can call them and you can ask questions and you can find out more. You can talk to the private schools, you can interview them, you can reach out and really get more details and see what they're going to offer you and what your kids are going to experience. So definitely something I advise is calling them. And now, if you have kids, you won't want to miss what it's like growing up and raising kids in the Boise area. So check out this video and it will help you give some more better tips on what your kids might feel like moving here, aside from just the schooling, but some of the amenities and what it just feels like to grow up in Boise as a kid.